Hi, fourth grade friends. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about note durations and rhythms that are in 3/4 time. Usually we use 4/4 time, which means there are 4 beats in one measure. So in 3/4 time, we'll talk about using 3 beats in one measure. So when I talk about note durations, that means how long or short a note is. So how long the duration of the note is. And that's really when we talk about rhythm, we're talking about note durations. So we're going to use the song Amazing Grace as an example for this. So I'd like you to sing along with me and pat the beat on your lap to Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. And we're just going to go that far in the song for this lesson. So behind me, you'll see all of these little hearts on the board. And to make this a very simple lesson that hopefully everybody will understand, we'll use hearts for the beat, thinking about that as a heartbeat. So when we think about beat, we are thinking about the heartbeat of the song. So the steady beat that never changes. So when we sing Amazing Grace, the first note we sing, let's think about how many beats, heartbeats, are in that first note. So let's sing that again and see what kind of rhythms we have in that song. Amazing grace. So just using those first 2 words, let's think about the rhythm there. Amazing. So for the very first word, that's going to be 1 beat. And we've learned what note is 1 beat in class. So a ta or a quarter note is 1 beat long. So I'm going to write in a quarter note. That pen doesn't work very well. Let me use a different pen. A quarter note right here. So notice how I left the first 2 blank there. That's because we started with 2 beats without notes. So for those first 2, we will put rests, because when we have a beat with no sound, that's going to have a quarter rest. So we'll put 2 rests and then a quarter note in that beat. Now let's figure out the rest of the song. So we have beat, beat, amazing. So for the next note, this is may. How many heartbeats does that next note have? May. If you said it has 2, you are right. And you probably know already that that is going to be a half note, or the way we count it when we count rhythm, 2. So we'll put that 2 right here, and it takes up 2 beats. So we cannot put anything in this next heart because this note, this half note, is taking up 2 heartbeats. Let's sing again and see if we can find out what's in this next heart here. Amazing. How many notes are in that zing? Amazing. So if you said 2 are in that heart, you are right. And when we have 2 notes in 1 beat, what do we call that? If you said TT, you are correct. So TT, as we've been learning, is 2/8 notes. So I'm going to put 2/8 notes here. On that heart. 2/8 notes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. So for the next part, I want you to think about what's going to go in this row of hearts here. Amazing grace, how sweet the... Now we have a few longer notes that are taking up 2 heartbeats. So let's write those in here. Amazing grace. So we have the word grace down here. Grace, that's taking up 2 heartbeats. Grace, how sweet how sweet. So how is 1 beat. Sweet is 2 beats. How sweet the is 1 beat. Sound, another 2 beats here. That saved, that saved, Do you hear how has 2 notes? When we have 2 notes, it's always going to be a TT, 2 notes in 1 beat. So I'm going to stop right there and let's talk about the time signature that Amazing Grace is written in. Amazing Grace is in 3/4 time. That means that there are 3 beats per measure. So when we have 3 beats per measure, that means we're going to divide the song into chunks of 3 beats. So that means we're going to have 3 of these little hearts in each measure. So what we're going to do to put this in 3/4 time, we're going to draw a bar line in between every 3 hearts. 1, 2, 3. Bar line. 1, 2, 3. Bar line goes there. We'll put a bar line at the beginning here just to have our nice little chunks of time here divided. 1, 2, 3. Bar line. 1, 2, 3. Bar line. Bar line here. 1, 2, 3. Bar line. 1, 2, 3. We'll put a bar line there. So when we have this all divided into 3 beats per measure, let's remember 3 beats doesn't mean 3 notes per measure. Not the same thing. 3 of these heartbeats. So we have some of these that only have 2 notes per measure. Again, and I will point to each of the beats. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. And we'll stop there. Notice how this is 3/4 time, meaning there's 3 beats per measure. Some of these measures only have 2 notes. That means that one of these notes is 2 beats long. So this one, the half note, is 2 beats. So it's 1, 2, and then that's the 3rd beat. So when we do rhythms that are in 3/4 time, we are talking about how many beats are in the measure, not how many notes are in the measure. So just remember that we're talking about beats. So if we add a 2-beat note with a 1-beat note, that's 3 beats. Or if we add a 2-beat note with 2 eighth notes. Each eighth note is half a beat. So we're looking at half a beat plus half of a beat is a whole beat, 1 beat. And then this is 2 beats. So 2 plus a half a beat plus a half a beat equals 3 altogether. So remember, whenever you see 2 eighth notes together, that's 1 beat when 2 eighth notes are together. When you see a note that has the empty circle on it with the stem, that's a half note and it's 2 beats. Now, let's go ahead and put this on the staff. All right, so now we've put the rhythms of Amazing Grace up on the staff, and this is how we write music on a staff. We make sure and we put our clef first. We've been learning about treble clef, so we'll put a treble clef first, and then our time signature goes next. So since Amazing Grace is in 3/4 time and it's in treble clef, we put a treble clef and then the 3/4 time signature. So now I've placed all these on the staff, and let's go ahead and put letter names underneath that. Since we've been practicing doing that, this would be a good time to practice putting in letter names. So this first one is D. See if you can name the next note before I write it on there. That one's G. These two right here, we have B and then G. This one here, B. This one is A, G on the second line. On the bottom line, that one is E. This next note right here, that's D. Then we have another D right here. G again. Another B to G. Down here we have another B. Right here is A. Right here is D. So what I would like you guys to do to practice writing in 3/4 time, I would like you to write out like we did with the hearts first. So write out a set of hearts, and let's see, let's make that 12 hearts. So maybe 2 rows of 6 hearts might be a good way to do that. So write 2 rows of 6 hearts, 12 hearts all together, and then write rhythms inside those heartbeats. Then write your 3/4 time signature at the beginning, and then draw those bar lines in between every 3 hearts. After you're done with that, rewrite your rhythm without using the hearts, so that you have what we had when I showed you after I erased the hearts, just the rhythm without the heartbeats. If you want a further challenge for yourself, write letter names under your rhythm after you've erased the hearts. You did the part where you rewrite your rhythm without hearts. And then write letter names. Then use another piece of paper, draw some staff lines, and put your rhythm that you made up on the staff. And let's keep the rhythm very simple, just with quarter rest, quarter note, half note, and the 2 eighth notes. So TT, ta, 2, and the quarter note rest is just fine. Just try to use a variety of those notes. So that'll be really good practice for you to practice that 3/4 time and writing on the staff if you're ready to move on to that. I hope that you've had fun with this lesson, 4th grade. I hope you have a really great rest of your day, and I hope that we can get back to music making together in the classroom very soon. Bye, 4th grade.